Hey guys, my name is Kayla O'Mara, and today I'm going to talk about fostering resiliency with children. And this is something that's near and dear to my heart, so hear me out that this is something that is very, very serious, but it's something that we got to look at. And we as teachers, we as parents, we as caregivers, anybody that works with children, we definitely have to really look at the side effects and just the different factors involved with children and their ability to just move on. So first off, resilience. The actual definition of resilience is the capacity to rise above difficult situations. Now, you might be looking at this and think, okay, but maybe my child hasn't had quite the trauma that a lot of other children have faced. But I'm going to go through and just list a couple different factors of a child that has had a setback. And maybe some of these actually do make more sense than just the person that we could think of, for example, that has trauma in their life. They have violence, abuse, or neglectful families. That is very, very tough for us to know, or people to see kids not being able to be fed, or they're not being paid attention to, or they never see their families, or a father figure is not in their life. Any of that kind of stuff is something that's definitely hard on a child. It talks about marital and family dysfunctions, children that go through divorce or with their parents' divorce, or children growing up with a single mom or a single dad. Their lives are a lot different than a typical family situation where a mother and father is present at all times and that there's no other problems. There's other factors to foster resiliency, such as death. Death is huge. A child could lose a family member, whether that's a grandma, a grandpa, a dog, a friend, a mom, a dad, anybody. Death can really affect a child, especially. So we definitely have to watch for that. Their health, if they aren't in good health, if they don't have health care, if their family can't afford taking them to the doctor when they're sick, if they're constantly ill with colds, if they are just in poor health, or they have poor hygiene. Poor hygiene is another one. Natural disasters. I never even thought of this, but that could affect a child if they just had a tornado go through their house, or they had a fire in their home, or anything like that. That could be serious. That could seriously affect a child. And another socioeconomical problems. If a child is growing up in poverty, if they do not understand, if they don't have a meal on the table. A lot of people, and I don't think people realize how many kids go to school knowing that that's their only meal for the day. That's extremely saddening. But we need to know those children and which children are not getting fed at home. And it's not necessarily because their parents are bad parents. Some people just can't afford it. And it's sad. But that's a huge factor, socioeconomics. Are they able to afford clothes? Are they able to afford school supplies? Are they able to afford food? That's something that's really big. And the last one that I never thought about, but it's becoming more and more prevalent in the United States, well, just in the world today, but in the United States today, is working families. Before, way back in like the 60s and 70s, the mom was a stay-at-home mom, and then the other kids she'd stay at home with the kids, and the dad usually was the breadwinner. Now, moms and dads are both working. They're working really long hours. They're both never really home. Sometimes children are taking care of themselves, or the other factor could be that they are they're with their grandparents more often now. More and more we see in childcare that children are getting picked up by their grandparents, and more than likely a lot of their grandparents are working too. That's something that we don't see anymore, is their grandparents are not getting retired anymore because they're working long days too. So we're seeing a lot of different things. So there's all different kinds of trauma and just difficult circumstances that a child has to go through in life. And as teachers, we need to be able to build relationships with a child and be able to foster resiliency in a child. One thing that I have to say is we just have to really, really build our relationships with children. Sometimes we're the only person that we feel that child feels safe around. Sometimes we are the only person that child trusts or anything. So we have to be that best person that could be around them. They need to feel safe and secure in their relationships with us. So when I was doing my little readings and different things, I came across an article that I had to read, and there was 7 C's that talked about how we could help children be resilient, or how we could build resiliency. And the 7 C's are competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. So now I'm going to go over these just a little bit. So confidence is just telling the children that, showing them their individual strengths and being able to empower them onto making their own decisions. Make sure that they feel competent enough that they can do things on their own and that you're not babying them for simple tasks that they know how to do. The next one, confidence booster. We need to be boosting these children's confidence. And that is finding the best in every single child. And yes, I said every single child. I know as a caregiver, it is very, very hard sometimes to find the best in some children. And usually those are the children that need it the most. So as teachers, we need to take our time to find the best in children. We have to express their best qualities and really, really look at this child and say that they're passionate, or they are just exuberant, or they are friendly and kind. Those kind of words to a child mean more than helpful or great or nice. So just think really, really authentically about each child and find the best qualities in them. Another huge one, this is a tough one for sometimes busy teachers, is just giving children authentic praise. Instead of saying, good job or nice work, take the time to physically tell them an authentic praise about what they're doing. Take a look at their artwork. Instead of saying good job, say, hey, I really like how colorful that is. And that's a really big, awesome dragon. I bet you that took a long time to draw that. Or anything, but have authenticity in everything that you say. Next one is connection. Make sure that those children are connected to you. Like I said before, you are one of their most important relationships. So make sure that they feel safe and secure around you. Make sure you have a healthy relationship. Make sure, I'm a hugger. I love hugs. Make sure you're asking children for hugs, because some children don't want to be touched and shouldn't be touched, honestly. So have healthy relationships. Give them high fives. Give them a hug. Just be open to them and have that extra connection that they might not have in their home life. And another thing with connection is be able to address conflict and resolve problems with people, with their peers, with their parents. First, you need to address the conflict and then resolve it. So that is going to be huge in building connections with their peers, their friends, that kind of stuff. Character, the next one, is just start demonstrating how behaviors affect children. Show them how important it is to have good character. And not only that, to have good character when no one else is watching. Because that's what true character is doing something great when no one else is watching. They could develop spiritually, and just physically, and just be able to show them how great it is in their character. Another thing is avoid stereotypes, racism, anything like that would define a person. You're not defining them. It's not okay. So do not do that and stay away from those stereotypes. Next one is contribution. Show children how to contribute to the society. Show and model Serving others, show and model generosity and being generous with their friends or with their peers or with their teachers, or being a helpful person. Once again, being a good character. And show have different opportunities for children to actually contribute. That's huge. That is so important, to actually allow children to contribute to the classroom or to their environment or outside in the playground. They love that. Next one is coping skills. This is a tough one. You need some self-regulation. You need to know how to breathe. You need to know positive coping strategies. And it's okay that a child has emotions. It's okay if a child is crying. It's okay if they are upset and they're angry. That is understandable. We as teachers need to understand that that's how kids are and how people are. We get mad, we get angry. There is nothing different between us and a child. So we need to remember that. And we need to make sure that we are not condemning any negative behaviors. Last one is control. Control is huge. A lot of people don't realize this, but the majority of our situations in our life, and I say majority because accidents happen, things happen, that's okay. But the majority of things that happen in our lives, we have control over. We have the choices that we can make. We have self-control over our bodies and over what we do. We have control in the choices we make. And we also need to teach them control as far as controlling themselves and just how we control a classroom. So if we are disciplining a child, the child needs to understand that it's to control the environment or control their behaviors, and it is for a learning situation. It is not to condemn them or put them down. It is for them to learn about their behavior. Their behavior. So I hope this video really helps out with just some ideas on how to teach resiliency and how you can foster a resiliency or resilient environment for a child. You guys have a great day. Bye.